Gloria West is on the line, and we're going to be talking about her book, Explore France, the Fun Way. How are you today, Gloria?
Oh, wonderful. Very excited. The weather is lovely, sunshine.
Yeah, it's a lovely
Very
sunny
happy.
day, so that means that I think that's us until the end of summer. It's going to be sunny, right? We can dream. So, did you travel a lot while growing up?
Well, actually, I grew up in Bulgaria during the communism, so we were not allowed to travel at all. You could face prison if you tried to listen to Western radio, wear jeans. We were not allowed to travel at all.
Yeah. What was it that inspired you to write a travel guide?
I'm an explorer by heart. I just love seeing the beauty of the world, variety of cultures. Every country is so different. So my family, they live very close to Turkey and Greece. So you just have to cross the border and it's a completely different world. This is what really fascinates me.
And how many countries have you visited over the years, and which have been your favourites?
My favorite is always the last one. How many countries I how many countries I have visited? Many, but still many to go to. Tunisia, Czech Republic, France, Italy, Switzerland, Germany, Austria, Netherlands, Turkey, Greece, of course England, Bulgaria, Moldova. I have many friends in China. We used to work together with my when I had my first business. And I have friends in America who are magicians. I am a magician as well, professional magician. So there are many places in my bucket list,
Yeah.
and places I have been to, obviously, but the last two are in my bucket list.
Have you always had a passion for exploring new destinations and different cultures?
Absolutely, yes. As I said, I'm an explorer by heart. As a child, you can always see me staring at the stars, and I knew each one by the name.
Yeah.
I never dreamt of toys. I always dreamt to be an astronaut.
Yeah.
Maybe because we were not allowed to travel abroad, but I really love exploring new places.
And are you a full-time traveller, or is it a hobby of yours?
Well,
Recording
I can say
stopped.
the moment is somewhere in between. It has always been a hobby, but I'm on the way to making it full time. And this is because I love meeting interesting people, visiting business events. I absolutely love this. And I love visiting magic events as well. And most importantly, I don't want to have unfulfilled dreams. So that's the reason.
Yeah.
I want this to be my full-time life.
For this travel guide, Explore France the Fun Way, what made you want to write about France?
If I have to answer in one word, this one word would be food. I really love nice food, natural food, different food,
Yeah.
but also wine, countryside, culture. But have no doubt, because this is just the first book of many to follow.
Yeah.
I intend to write about every single country I've ever been or plan to go to.
Yeah. And what makes your guide different from all the others that have been published before?
Something I really, really love to do when I feel depressed or I start feeling demotivated and I need to lift my spirit up, I would get on my car and just go for a short trip somewhere. And when I'm driving, whilst I'm driving, I love listening to audiobooks. This is something I find really inspirational. I just pick good audiobooks that will lift my spirit up. And this was the whole idea, because many travel guides, they have just a list of boringly presented information. Whilst I wanted this to be a book that you can put in your sound system in the car and just start listening, feel entertained, feel inspired. I wanted the words to be visual, picturesque, and just not something boring and overwhelming. So that's what my goal was. And I also included a lot of curious facts, like, for example, did you know you should never kiss at a train station in France
Didn't know
because
that.
you can get arrested? There are a lot of interesting facts that can inspire your curiosity reading the book or listening to the book. So this is what I think makes it different.
Yeah. And you've kind of already answered this, but do you plan on writing another guide or any other books? And if yes, which countries and topics would you pick this time?
The next book is actually a fiction book. And it's a real story, the story of my family, which has amazing coincidences in it. So what happened, my great-grandfather, he lived in Turkey, but the territory at this time was Bulgaria. This was before the war, and during the war, the borders were changed. And what used to be Bulgaria is now in Turkish territory, so they had to come back to Bulgaria. And he was a very wealthy man. He was the mayor of the village. And he had to leave everything behind because they had to travel very quickly. So I know this story. I've always known it since I was a child. But so happened that my father went to live in Turkey for a few years. And he invited me. And it happened that he went exactly in the same area where my great-grandfather lived. So I thought, why don't we go and visit his village and see his house? This will be absolutely amazing and interesting. And we went there. I saw the house. The local people showed me the house. They showed me how the village was transformed. They showed me an ancient tree, which was very, very big, very, very impressive. They showed me around the village. And then I went back to Bulgaria to see my family. And I started telling the story to my grandfather. And he started asking me questions like a child. His face started shining. It was absolutely amazing. And that's where the story actually begins, because what he told me, he said, did you see the tree? Did you see this and this and this? And I said, yes, I saw all of that. And he said, and did you know that your great-grandfather had a pot of gold? And he hid it exactly there. And I never knew that. So if I knew it in advance, maybe I could have tried to find the gold. But maybe this will be another story and another adventure.
Yeah.
And maybe this will be the fiction book that I have in my mind and I'll present at some point in the future.
So how has your visit to Turkey impacted your understanding of your family history and heritage?
What I found most impressive about my visit was that just 100 years ago, the world was so different. Life was completely unrecognizable to us, modern people living in the Western world. Going to the villages in Turkey was like a journey back in time. It was amazing, in the most positive sense, saying this, because it had they gave me a lot of organic food. I saw their peaceful, simple lifestyle with so much less stress. It was amazing.
And can you tell us more about the village where your great-grandfather used to live and its history?
Oh, well, I only spent maybe an hour there, so it wasn't a lot of time, but I saw the house where my great-grandfather lived. I saw the people. They were very, very friendly, very welcoming. They showed me everything around. It was just an amazing experience. But I didn't learn a lot about the history of the village. Maybe next time when I travel to Turkey.
Yeah. And how did it feel to visit your great-grandfather's house in the village plaza with the bell well and the ancient tree?
Well, it's a memory that I can never forget. I mean, this is what makes your soul rich, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, these are the pieces and moments of time that you'll remember until the last of your days.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
What was your grandfather's reaction when you told him about your trip to Turkey and the discovery of the pot full of gold?
This is the other coincidence, because my grandfather passed away very, very soon afterwards. And if this didn't happen just a few months before that, I would have never known about this pot of gold, which now will be the core story of my new book.
Yeah.
So my grandfather was ill at the time. He was not in great condition, neither physically nor mentally, but this story lifted him up so much. He forgot completely about his illness. His face was shining. He became like a child. He was so happy. And this was amazing as well.
Yeah. Can you share with us the location of the buried pot that your grandfather told you about?
Oh, I wouldn't dare doing that. Mainly because I don't want sudden interest for the village and these people have a very wonderful, quiet life.
Yeah.
And I don't think a lot of visitors searching for gold would be a good idea.
And do you have plans to write a book about your experience and the discovery of the buried pot?
Yes, definitely. Definitely. But I'm still thinking about the story because it has to be, there has to be a story around it. So I'm still thinking about it, but hopefully in very, very close future.
And can you tell us more about the vineyards in your region and the process of making your delicious red wine?
I have to say, because my family I live in England, but my family lives in the south of Bulgaria, which is the best region for wine, for grapes, and our wine is really, really delicious and lovely. And literally every person living here has their own vineyards. So our wine is very close to French wine. I have tried different wines, French, Italian, Spanish, Chilean, wine from Australia, from America, from Argentina. And I have to say our wine is very close to French wine. I love having a little glass of wine from time to time. I don't know the process very much, but I know that every local person here produces it at their own home for their own use. My uncle has vineyards, and I absolutely love his wine. This is also part of the reason why I chose France to be the first book, because I feel connected with France because of the wine.
Well, where are we able to find your book, Explorer France the Fun Way?
The book is available on Amazon, will be available on Amazon Audible as well very soon. And is also available on my website, gloriawest.com.
Excellent. Well, many thanks for talking to us today. It's been great to have you on.
I had an amazing time. Thank you so much. Thank you.